Well, welcome to the Heart of the Bear Factory. My name is Rob Johnson, and this is Positive Impact, the show that talks about making teddy bears with a purpose. Joining me, as always, is Jerry McLean, Jimmy Banish. Welcome, gentlemen.
Morning.
So we are on episode 7. We are talking about the philanthropic endeavors of the Bear Factory. So, you know, one of the main frames that we've been going through every episode has been how the Bear Factory gives back and almost in the nature of the business model with the environmental sustainability. But I want to go a layer deeper and talk about other missions, other endeavors that you guys have to support other causes through the organization. So who wants to take that one?
I'll let Jerry start, just given the early years and, you know, what you kind of encountered, because I know what we encounter on a daily basis, which is an onslaught of everyone always wanting teddy bears donated for something. But I think hearing a little bit about how you handled that and how we handle it now would be beneficial.
Well, we started out on the slower end because we were a new company and weren't really well known. It took about 4 months for that to change. Once that changed, you know, many of the big philanthropic fundraising people, things like that, would come and want different things from us. And, you know, we started to go ahead and do certain Michigan-orientated family groups for abused children, where they would ask for maybe 100, 200 animals, some clothing. The kids would go to a camp setting for the week, and, you know, we get these heartfelt letters from the camp orientators that their children would start crying. They would carry their animals around with them 100% of the time, you know, so it really got to be something very, very important and very big for these different groups. And as you do one, the word gets out. And once the word gets out that you're donating and really helping these groups move into a different direction with the children and good feelings and good thoughts, as that word got out, we ended up going ahead and doing some pretty big organizations. We did St. Jude's, Random Acts of Kindness, and many other groups around the United States. It does get to a point, though, where we have to now budget on a quarterly basis for, you know, how much we do give away. These are straight, you know, 100% charity donations that we do. Sometimes we will do a cost donation if it's something that they're asking for a tremendous amount of product, let's say 500, 1,000 pieces, you know, sometimes, because we have to really watch what we do, because it's a large portion of, you know, our bottom line is our charity events. And so now Jimmy's taken it to a completely new level where we're pretty much inundated every single week with somebody or someone or some organization or some stories, and sad and good. And I'll let Jimmy take it from there because he's on the daily basis.
Yeah, it actually, I would say the more difficult is sorting through all the requests and allocating, because you don't want to devalue. No one's application is valued over another person's, because you have someone who's running a Boy Scout event, and then you have more, you know, tragic, heartbreaking scenarios as well. Because everyone loves a teddy bear, you know, it's just provides comfort. So sorting through and selectively picking, you know, who we provide allocations to can be really difficult. There was a time where we were just getting so many, we took the charitable contributions link off the website because we just had so many to go through. And so we put that back up. And then the other thing that we have to be really conscious of is we're pretty, you know, we work with a few less than a handful of large national and global groups. But we really try to keep it more regional, because there's a lot of customers of ours too where that's their business model, is working with fundraisers, or they're a nonprofit as well. And we want to make sure that we're not, you know, accidentally competing with them by, they give a group a quote, and then they somehow find us. I mean, I've never heard of this happening, but they somehow find us and we just give them a donation. So keeping it very within the neighborhood locally is kind of the mentality we've gone with regards to product donation, unless it's something very specific. And one of those scenarios that we were talking about before the show is I love this group that we work with, but especially having a daughter now, it's really heartbreaking because it's a hospital group who takes plushies and recording modules, and for children who have been diagnosed with a terminal diagnosis, they eventually get a recording of that child's voice or heartbeat or something, and they'll put it in the bear and give it to the parents once that child has passed. And I've had beautifully haunting emails of recordings that they've sent us of kids singing, and like, we don't ask for them, they send that because they're just really appreciative, and it just really makes you stop and recognize and appreciate. And I'll take those and just go around and show everyone and have them listen to those, and it just really makes you pause, amongst the chaos of day-to-day life. It just really makes you pause. So we're in the business to have fun. We're having experiences with kids. We're talking about, education and this and that. And then you have that setting too that we are able to have a positive impact on. That just really, it's the reason why we keep going when the days are tough. That it's those instances that really motivate you and give you that extra juice when you're feeling low in the tank.
Well, we also have, some of our military accounts, where people will service, different fractions of the military. And you have the, moms and dads that are being deployed, and they go ahead and they get a sound module and they give them a message to their child, so they can have it in the teddy bear or whatever animal, and keep on replaying that. And so, these are the things that really make a difference. We're blessed to be able to have those groups reach out to us, because it really does keep moms and dads a lot closer to their kids.
Yeah, we've sent multiple pallets to military bases, and it has to go through this whole clearance process. I think only USPS is allowed to deliver to those bases, if I recall correctly. There's just a lot of, you don't think about it, but they order a couple thousand bears, and it's for like a family day on base. So it's super cool to find out all these different ways that our products can be implemented in different events and activities. But it's just it's fun and unique.
Has it surprised you guys seeing the different applications that people come up with your product that may be completely outside of how you thought it might be used in those cases?
We've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of different applications. Some I'm not going to talk about on film, but it is surprising. Some of them are pretty ingenious, and some of them, should be kept, in a dark closet.
Sure. There's some really funny, like, adult applications that people call us, and especially after going to a recent trade show where that's a bunch of Halloween haunts, and these guys are just hilarious. And our stuffing machines, they're like, I love this stuffing machine. Can you make it black? Can you make the fiber red? I want to be stuffing guts into a monster plush. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. I don't know if we can dye the fiber red because this, that, and the other thing, but there's a lot of, people are extremely creative, and there's a lot that you can do with a plush, apparently.
Well, at that show, I think we all woke up and became different people after seeing what we saw. It was quite a unique experience walking into a show with haunts and scary things and mannequins that are 10 feet tall that they use to scare people. And we're really sitting on the edge of the middle of this thing, and we've got teddy bears. So it was really a unique. We were like the bridge between the scare and then there was Christmas on the other side. So we were like the buffer between the two.
We find ourselves
groups.
talking to a lot of unique people, unique creative people.
Oof,
So, but there's lots, that falls back into just the ways that people that ask for donations and the events and things like that. It's, we could go on and on. This could be a Joe Rogan 3-hour podcast.
Sure.
It is fun because we get to go back wherever we're staying at a trade show or the dinners after the trade show, and the conversations that come up about this one, and we're sitting there, we're cracking up with some of the applications, so it is quite funny.
Yeah, I can't imagine you guys sitting there. You have like a yellow duck on your table, and all these animals, and then there's all the all the top-rated horror film scares and everything.
There was a handcrafted plush booth where they tore apart Barbie limbs and gored them up and attached them. So I bought we have an octopus hanging over, or a squid, giant squid hanging over our shipping desk, because I want to try to buy something from every show and bring it back here, but I'll show you that after.
Awesome. So is there one particular charitable endeavor that stuck out to you that really hit home or really made an impact?
I would say no. I would say that, each one really grabs you. Some of them, they just want a donation and want something for free. It's the ones that really have a meaning, that are really touching children that are not in some good situations or have had a lot of tragedy or, abuse in their life. Those are the ones that really matter. Those are the ones that keep us, coming back for more to them and giving them more and whatever they ask for. And, they come in, they go, wow, we want 200 this year. Do you think you could handle that? And yeah, it's an easy yes. It's the ones where you get 500, 1,000, and they're probably going to try to sell some of that and make some money. Those are the ones that, we have to weed out and stay away from sometimes.
We have people who provide reports, like full reports, pitches, if you will, of why we should donate. And those are the ones that we pay more attention to, because there's, and it's usually, a lot of these donations are not to large nonprofits, they're all to the smaller grassroots, because I really struggle working with and donating product or even cash to really large groups, because I know that it can get lost. So really making sure that we work with more grassroots approach is our focus.
Absolutely. So on the philanthropy of the company, Jimmy, is there anything else you'd like to cover?
Yeah, I mean, we have the product donation side, and then we also have the monetary donation side that we'll talk about it here and there, but a couple of the groups that we work with that I would like to make mention is like the National Wildlife Federation, specifically the Great Lakes Regional Office in Ann Arbor. We've worked with them for years, and their spin-off group, the Great Lakes Business Network, that's one that I sit on the board for and do my best to try to provide time to help support with leadership, decision making, and all of these groups. We, being in Michigan, being the Great Lakes state, I've taken I love fresh water, and taken a personal mission of mine to help support that. So all of these specific groups that we work with, they're freshwater focused, whether it's harmful algal blooms, PFAS, or specifically Line 5 in the Straits of Mackinac, and getting that whole mess cleaned up and shut down. But now we've also moved over to some of the land conservation as well, working with the Nature Conservancy. So they're doing a lot up in the UP, in the Keweenaw Peninsula, preserving old growth forests. Because what I did not know is that the second largest landholder in the UP are foreign groups for lumbering wood. And that kind of shocked me because the UP is amazing. I feel like it's this untapped place, but there's a lot of outside ownership that's coming in and doing deforestation like right in our backyard. So if it's going to happen, you know, the Nature Conservancy is one of the largest land holders in the world, and they focus on sustainable lumbering as well as reforesting particular locations. So working with them at like a local level here in Michigan has been really cool. And then the Children's Environmental Literacy Foundation, we talk a lot about. We work with them, and they provide us with educational content that every single one of our plushies you have free access to. So you can scan the QR code on the ear tag, and you know, mom and dad can go and do a scavenger hunt activity to get kids outside and get them outdoors, learning about product life cycle, or just, you know, getting your hands dirty in nature. So working with Self has been a really great group, because they're a group of a small grassroots nonprofit comprised of educators, and then they go in and traditionally educate other teachers on how to incorporate sustainability into their curriculums, like through K through 12 levels. So, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What I like about it is everything that you guys do is with a purpose. There's a mission behind it, and that's something that, you know, if people are listening to this and they're just getting their business rolling, or they're just getting up and running, it's really important to have a mission that you're focused on that's outside of the actual revenue and operation of the business, because when you give back, when you take part in these things, it's all cyclical in the business. It all works together. But if it's all just about, you know, the bottom line and the revenue, and there's no give back, that'll seep into the culture of your company, and that'll most certainly harm the organization. So it's almost like it's much easier to have open hands when you go into a business than to try and close everything up and, you know, secure everything. It just works better when you have that heart for giving and being a part of the communities that you care about.
Yeah, this episode is probably the most open we've ever even been, talking about who we, you know, donate to and contribute to, because it's just, we do it because it's the right thing to do, and we meet, you know, are connected with the right people who are deserving of it. And a lot of, you know, corporate groups run around donating, right, waving flags on how good they are, and
Right.
you know, we really don't like talking about it. But you know, what's unique about our product is, I think people should know, yeah, we do work with and donate to, but it needs to be intentional, like you're talking about. And at the same time, nonprofits are amazing at passion and mission, and finding the energy when it's not there to try to push what they believe in forward. They are not good at making money.
They don't know how.
They don't know how. And for us, it just feels so second nature. I'll start talking to some of these groups, and they're like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that before. And I'm like, how did you never think about that before? But then they bestow, you know, really, they're just really savvy in ways that they are able to raise money and things. So working with them and providing them an opportunity to be able to raise funds, or just kind of work with and help mentor too. So Hero Roundtable, the last one that they did last year, they were doing a talk on why you should start a nonprofit, and halfway through it turned into why you shouldn't start a nonprofit, because there's so many nonprofits out there right now. You're better off, the Bear Factory is way better off finding nonprofits that already have full dedicated time versus starting our own. We talked about starting our own nonprofit when my mother-in-law, Jerry's wife, Renee, passed away in 2019. We were talking about doing, you know, like Renee's gift, or, you know, Renee was so giving, so amazing. Always just, you go to an event and she just stuffs your face full of food, and you leave there with 5 plates. You know, that was her. She was just so giving. And we had talked about how do we memorialize what Renee liked to do and who she was with the company. Like, oh, we should start a nonprofit. And, you know, time goes on, we get busy, and rather than doing it ourselves, we find these groups that, you know, exemplify what Renee would have wanted to do.
Oh, they're really good at it.
Yeah, they're good at it. We're good at what
They
we
know
do,
what
and
to
they're good at what they do.
We can service them, we can help them, you know. And in regards to this whole subject matter, really this is the quiet side of the Bear Factory. It's what we don't talk about, rather than what we do talk about, is how to help these groups. You know, we don't need to be mentioned. It's not who we are and what we're about in any way, shape, or form. We want to make sure that whatever they're doing, if they're touching people, then we'll be a part of it. And so that's why, like Jimmy said, we're talking about stuff that normally never comes out of the trenches of the Bear Factory.
I love that. Well, I certainly appreciate you guys, sharing that with the listeners and pulling back the curtain a little bit. And as I've said on the last several episodes, I love the mission and everything you guys are doing here. As we transition, I want to talk about, the featured plushie of the week. So I'll hand this down to you, Jimmy. You can walk us through it. And this is a never before seen animal, is that right?
Yeah, so we chose this. This is Lenny the Longhorn. We do a lot of business down in Texas, and so I know that all our Texans are going to be pumped about this. But a lot of, when we were talking about, this particular topic for an episode, I immediately went to a lot of schools and universities that do a lot of give back, using a mascot or something of the sort. So this is like one of our newest mascots, and I think he's going to be a pretty big hit just because he's really comfy and cozy.
He's hopefully going to be a very busy Longhorn.
Yeah. I love the material. I love the fact that we can kind of honor all of our Texas customers, because they're some of the most fun customers that we work with. They're very energetic, entrepreneurial, brash.
A lot of passion.
Lots of passion. I love passion.
And big, like they say, they do things big in Texas.
Yeah, so he's big. But yeah, we're super excited to introduce Lenny.
Excellent. Well, fellas, anything else before I wrap up today's show?
No,
Perfect.
All right, very good. Well, I appreciate you both. Thank you. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Positive Impact. I certainly appreciate you watching. If you're listening to this on audio, go ahead and pop over to the YouTube channel. You'll be able to see anything that we're showing. Lenny the Longhorn was today's featured animal, so you'll be able to see that on YouTube. And be sure to subscribe and follow along on social media for all of the latest and greatest updates coming out of the Bear Factory. Thanks for watching.